On the other hand, there's another analysis that we have tried is to look at the use of argumentative markers in notes in threads versus notes which are non-threads. Okay. In the knowledge forum, we can the users can post their notes in threads-like structure, so that they can build on and then build on and then build on other people's note in order to become a thread long enough. And for non-threads, that means the singletons or ideas post onto the screen or to the platform, and then nobody go to open them, and then nobody build on them. And in this study, we treat threads or we count threads with more than 5 nodes as a long thread. Okay. And in this chart, okay, you can see that in threads with more than 5 nodes, those the use of argumentative markers are quite different from those nodes which are not in the threads. For example, in developed thread, okay, tend to for this chart. Look at the starting nodes, which is, on the other hand, what we call seed nodes. In seed nodes of the threads, okay, they tend to reflect exploratory and presenting contrasting views using markers like consequence, contrast, elaboration, questions, this kind of markers. And for the non-threads, they tend to use markers categories like reasoning, conditions, claims, cohesion, that kind of markers. Okay, so it's quite different when we compare threads versus non-threads use of markers. And then we look at the first view on notes, also in the fashion of threads versus non-threads. And for the first view on contrast, okay, threads. These markers like contrast, questions, rebuttal clearly stand out from the more developed threads. Okay, so again we see differences even in the first view on notes in terms of the use of argumentative markers. Okay, and the third thing that we have done with this set of data is to look at well, how close or what kind of argumentative markers used in conjunction with the use of scaffolds in the knowledge forum. For example, in this one of the threads that we have counted as longer threads, okay, it has the lowest mean number of argumentative markers per node among the longer threads. And in this thread, you can see that this thread starts with claim, okay, and then follow on with conditions, reasons, cohesion, questions, and so on. And then on the other hand, you can see that the students have used scaffolds like opinion. I need to understand this kind of scaffolds. This indicates, or this thread tells us that, well, they are not really fruitful in terms of the argumentative use and also the use of scaffolds. But if we look at some more developed threads in terms of scaffold use or the highest or the number of argumentative markers used, for example, the thread 1 has the second highest mean number of scaffold use and third highest mean number of argumentative markers per node. You can see that it's quite different when even if we take a glance of these markers and also the use of scaffolds. For example, the thread starts with a contrast, followed by some questions, some notes argumentative markers on cohesion, reasoning, and then consequence, condition, claim. Okay, this is. On the other hand, you can see that the scaffolds used were kind of like reflecting the use of argumentative markers. Like I need to understand claims first, some kind of new information, follow on sources of information, and then they come to my theory. Okay, so this kind of moving forward their understanding, of also moving forward the knowledge when we take a look at their use of markers and also the use of scaffolds. And this Fred 7 is also quite a developed note in terms of its note content, and also you can see rich use of argumentative markers and correspondingly the use of scaffolds. So what we are trying to say here is that well, the use of machine-executed, repeatable, scalable analysis process is well can be quite informative in terms of letting us to have a general idea of how the quality of the discussion. And the triangulation between KB indicator and number of argumentative markers used, as you can recall, the scatter graph or scatter plot tell us quite a lot about the between participation and the quality of the note. And at the same time, we have some we are still exploring some of these problems in use of ATK inquiry index. For example, the index is only a individual level only. So, but the argumentative marker can be used to look at differences between groups and Fred's analysis. So, how to bridge these two indices can be a challenge to us. And also the research team will further explore the use of argumentative markers as a type of real-time KB indicators in the future.